Welcome to the Grapevine Wellness Show. I'm your host, Jolyn Armstrong. Our mission on this show is to bring viewers meaningful conversations that offer hope, support, and practical tools for navigating life's challenges, and to highlight the beautiful people in the Reno Tahoe area who are serving our community. Today, we're joined by Colleen Feuling, a senior home coach and senior real estate specialist, or SRES, based in Carson City, and serving the greater Carson and Reno area. She's a trusted advocate for older adults and their families, specializing in real estate transitions that support comfort, safety, and quality of life. All of those things. It's beautiful. With many years of experience in the medical field, she brings a deep sense of compassion and understanding to her work in real estate. She especially is dedicated to helping clients navigate decisions around aging in place, downsizing, assisted living, memory care, and other major life transitions with dignity and confidence. In August of 2025, Colleen was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. We're going to learn a little bit about that today. That experience gave her a profoundly personal understanding of how quickly life and health circumstances can change, even for healthy people. Spending several months using a walker while living in a multi-level home deepened her awareness of the challenges that many people face when their home no longer supports their needs. That firsthand experience now allows her to guide her clients with even greater empathy, practical insight, and care. Colleen understands that a home represents more than just a transaction, a purchase or a sale of a home. It really holds a lifetime of memories. She partners with a trusted network of professionals to help make each move as smooth and stress-free as possible, really walking alongside her clients every step of the way. Whether someone is transitioning to a smaller home or relocating to maybe an active adult community, moving to assisted living or memory care, or choosing to age in place in their own home, Colleen connects them with reliable and compassionate professionals who can help support their journey. And for those who may be watching or listening outside of the Reno, Tahoe, Carson City area here, please know that Colleen also maintains a wide network of trusted advisors, both locally here and nationally, and can connect individuals and their families with senior home coaches and real estate professionals really across the country. So, Colleen, welcome to the show. I'm so honored to have you here today. Yeah.
Oh, Jolyn, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you and just have this conversation.
Yeah. Before you and I met, and we've known each other for a bit now, but before you and I met, I didn't know that this profession existed. I realized
Mm.
the needs of it, but I didn't know. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do as a senior home coach. What did I leave out of that introduction for you?
Sure. So, as a senior home coach, I am one of the founding members of that um, movement, and that's very exciting. So, so many people are navigating the next stage of their life and not sure what to do. Most people want to stay in their house, but it's not always safe. And so I come in and talk with the homeowner, the decision makers, maybe it's the family that's involved as well too. And we talk about all the different options that they have. And then from there, I help them to set themselves up best for that next step. So they may need to be moving, but they aren't ready yet, or they have to, they've got to get rid of the things in the house, or, um, there's so many moving parts. So we can be working on some of those things, creating a safe space in their home. I actually just became certified as with my CAPS, which is certified aging in place specialty. So helping that home to be better for them
Yeah.
while we're talking about the next move or next steps.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. That is, and yeah, I mean, there have been older adults in my own family who've gone through this on their own, trying to figure it
Mhm.
out and navigate it. And I've known there's been a need for this, but how amazing that this is the thing that you specialize in and that you do. And I mean, what drew you to that? What to working with seniors and helping people do this?
Well, nobody can do this alone. And that includes me. I mean, that's where we
Mhm.
build a team together. And it really, coming from the medical field, I started working in real estate, and then I saw a real need in this space. And I actually I had a couple of referrals, clients that came to me through other professionals, and um, not knowing quite how to serve them the best just yet,
Mhm.
and finding the need that it's way more than just the house. Like it's not it's hardly the house, it's the other things. And so that was really what got me interested, and I needed to know so much more than just the market and how to sell that house, but to best serve them and find the communities that they could be in. Um, and that's how we got started.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. So when I mean, you saw a need and you're like, okay,
Mhm.
we're gonna
Yeah.
learn about this. We're gonna discover this and figure this out and put some things together.
And I'd like to add too, like that led me into getting my SRES, the Senior Real Estate Specialist designation. But what I understood was it teaches you a little bit, but there's still so much more to that. So then I found this amazing group of senior home coaches, and that's what's really we're not all realtors. We come from different professions: move management, independent living, assisted living, placement specialists. Like there are so many different people and we collaborate together. So we're actually on a Zoom call every morning. We have coffee together. We've been in person for conferences. So like I know these people really well, and so we're just bringing more and more to the table and being able to serve our clients
Mhm.
because of all the knowledge that we have together.
Yeah, so somebody comes to you with forefront in their mind a real estate transaction, but in your working with them, you see, oh, they could really benefit. That here's another need that they have, and you're
Mhm.
able to then really provide this wraparound service in all different
Right.
areas.
Or
Yeah,
it's a kid, it might be somebody who's my age who's going, I didn't know that my mom was so in such poor health. Like
yeah.
people can hold things together for a holiday or for
Mhm.
a little get together. Sometimes it takes one of the spouses passing, and you don't realize that that was actually the caregiver to the other one, and the other one is now shouldn't be home alone. It's not safe for them. It's not safe for anybody.
Mhm.
So there, and I go out and educate, trying to help prevent these things from happening so that people can be more proactive, because we don't want people in bad situations. We want the move to be because they want to do it, or in a more controlled atmosphere, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, not if we can be proactive versus, oh my gosh, we're in trouble
Reactive.
here. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
What, like when you're working with clients, what are some of the like most common challenges that you have seen seniors facing in their homes?
Homes aren't always being taken care of. You
Mhm.
know, they've lived in their homes for maybe 20 or 30 years, maybe it's 50, and not everybody keeps up with their homes. So there can be a lot of deterioration of the home. There's also a lot of stuff that oftentimes comes with the house, and they've lived there for so long and they collect things. So um, just all the items. It could be anything.
Yeah, I see
Um,
ya.
but just things can become trip hazards.
Mhm.
Or even just the fancy, they have beautiful throw rugs, but throw rugs can be such a trip hazard. And so I can usually walk into the house and just right off the bat give them suggestions in how to make their space a little bit safer, even just today, without investing any money or any professionals or any, just things that they can do or their family can help them with.
What a gift. Yeah, because when you're in a home every day for years and years, yeah, it's as your body changes, as your needs change, it's, oh,
Mhm.
I didn't realize that rug could cause that big
Right.
of a deal. And
Yeah.
yeah, Yeah. And yeah, I didn't realize it's been X number of years since I had any maintenance done on this thing, right? It makes me think
Yeah,
about,
years go by quickly when you think about even having
yeah,
your heating and air system serviced. You know, it should
yep,
be a seasonal thing. And when you look back and you're like, oh gosh, that was 3 years ago.
exactly,
Time gets the
exactly.
best of all of us.
I remember a conversation with my mother, that where she like her the paint on her garage was really peeling, and she said, "Don't ever have your garage painted in October because it peels, like it might peel." And I said, "Oh, like that," because she had her garage painted in an
Oh,
October, and I said, "Hmm, which October did you have your garage painted?" And it was literally 20 years before then. I'm like, "Whoa."
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're right. It time flies and we've got all kinds
Yeah.
of things, and managing a home is a lot, and when your health starts to fail and
Hmm.
when you don't have the energy that you used to have and
Right.
nor the memory that you used to have. All of those things, it's
Mhm.
so I can see how kind of the most common thing is, yeah, things have been left longer than we
Mhm.
thought, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mhm.
you live in the space, so you forget about the things that they're just there.
Yeah.
So you don't even, you see past. In fact, I was asking my parents yesterday about um, a framed image in their basement, and they're like, the first response was like, "What do you? I don't remember that." And
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
screenshotted the saying that is on it, and my mom was like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Well, it's only been on the wall for like, probably 40 years." So,
Right. And it doesn't
I know
take
it's there,
nearly
but maybe it isn't. I mean, I'm thinking it's still there, but maybe it really isn't anymore.
most like knowing what I know about the brain and how it filters things. Yeah, we brush past things that have been there for a minute, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so you're able to walk into someone's home and say, okay, here's this, these changes that you can make quickly,
Hmm.
easily, relatively easily, probably, right? And make all the
Right.
difference.
Yeah. And even, I mean, we go with the little things, but then, what is the ultimate goal? Do you really want to stay in the house? And if you have a home like
Mm,
mine, which I'm sure we'll get into, but you have all your bathrooms and bedrooms upstairs or showers,
yeah.
and that's not, then you look at remodeling, and is that the right thing? And what are the costs of that? And, pros and cons. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot that we can get into.
And in your network, you've got people who, yeah, maybe it is as simple as adding a bathroom downstairs or on the
Hmm.
main level, whatever that might be.
Hmm.
And one of those experts can come in and say, okay, here's the cost of that versus the cost and disruption of moving, blah, blah, blah. And that might be the right choice to make, but
Right.
having some of
Hmm.
these experts available and financing experts too, and say, hey, here's.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. But yeah,
Yes.
yes, you bring up your home. Let's talk about that. You've been helping people navigate these kind of changes in their own health. And last year, here you were. So we're recording this spring of 26, but it was
Hmm.
August of 25. But you had not been feeling great before then. Let's talk about that.
Right. Yeah, it really started in January or February of 25.
Yeah.
In March, I was having some really bad rib pain. I had gone to urgent care and they didn't see anything on x-rays or anything. In the end of May, I thought I did something severely to my spine. I had bent over and couldn't stand back up again,
Mm.
heard something pop. I was prescribed muscle relaxers at that time. They didn't see anything on x-rays. Um,
Wow.
in in July, then we were traveling as a family, and I had pain in my ribs and my spine and in my pelvis. And I was just taking ibuprofen 24 hours a day now because I didn't know what else to do. Um, and I was going to go on a trip to Wisconsin with my oldest son. And I went to the doctor's office the night before because I didn't think I could get on the plane the next day because of the pain I was in. And again, I was prescribed muscle relaxers, and I'm like, this isn't it. Um, and then when we were on that plane, I had relaxed, like calm myself down enough that I could put my head down on the tray table in front of me. And the person in front of me pushed their seat back, and that hit my head. And you would think, like, not a big deal, right? No, this was like, it put me in tears. It was excruciatingly painful. And we think that because of how I reacted after that, I no longer would let anybody touch me. And so we think that that was actually when my spine compressed. So when we were in Wisconsin, I spent a day in an ER there because I didn't know how to get home now. And same thing. And nobody did lab work in any of these appointments that I had made. And this was another um, muscle relaxer prescription. I was so frustrated.
Mm,
I was mad. I was mad
yeah.
by then.
It's not
Um,
that this is not helping. This is obviously
right.
not what I need.
Yeah.
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 It
I mean,
might be good. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was having a hard time even driving at that point. We were going to do a day trip, and I said, there's no way I can do this. I can't drive because of the
Wow.
pain.
You're supposed to be having a good time with your son who lives across country.
Supposed to be out on lakes and water skiing, and
Dang.
I was afraid to even step into a boat because I didn't think I could handle, the
Yeah.
pounding of the waves or even physically being able to get back out of the boat. So I didn't do it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it might be helpful to tell our viewers maybe a little
Mhm.
education around multiple myeloma, what that is, how it presents.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when we got back from Wisconsin, that went into the diagnosis then because I did have lab work to go get the results on, and I brought my husband with me because I knew something was really wrong. And so I would say in August of 2024, all of my lab work was totally normal. In August of 2025, nothing was normal. Everything was wrong. My white blood cells, red blood cells, just everything. And there was something called an M spike or protein spike. And that is supposed to be zero. It was 5.7. My doctor said, I'm pretty sure you have multiple myeloma. We're going to get you a CT. They wanted to do a CT of my chest, abdomen, and pelvis, and wanted me to follow up with an oncologist instead of anybody else. And so through that imaging, they saw lytic lesions, which are something that multiple myeloma does to your bones. Um, and so then I went to the hospital that night. I got admitted, and they ran a whole battery of tests over 9 days. I had to have MRIs and X-rays and lots of blood work. They did a bone marrow biopsy. That was the most important one to have. Um, and so I had, along with in the blood work, they found out that there was a lot of calcium in my kidneys, and that is, um, so there's an acronym CRAB. C is for calcium. So I had high calcium. R is renal. I had 40% renal function.
Gosh.
Um, A is anemia. I got 2 blood transfusions, and I've been a blood donor since I was 16. So
You
I've
were
donated like
healthy.
gallons and gallons and gallons of blood throughout my life, and now I had to be the recipient. And then B is bone, and I had multiple fractures in my ribs and in my spine and in my pelvis. So I checked all the boxes, and not everybody does. Multiple myeloma is a different disease for every single person that gets diagnosed with it. And that's what's kind of scary about it, I guess. Some people are diagnosed with something called smoldering myeloma, and they have some markers in their blood that show it, but they don't have any pain, they don't have anything, and they can go decades, maybe their entire life without it ever becoming active.
Hmm.
Um, and then you have me who has a very aggressive form, and everything changed so quickly.
Wow. So you did have fractures. I mean, all of that pain.
Mhm. but they weren't showing up. And that's like, I think, like looking back on things now, I think that there was pain. So we don't know if there were fractures yet. And I think with these lesions, because they grow. And so I think as time was moving forward, that these lesions were getting bigger. And then um, that was what was breaking
They might
certain
not have
parts of the
been,
bone.
yeah, they might not have been fractures when you
They
had
weren't
those.
right. The
Gotcha.
pain was there, but the fractures were not there yet.
Got it.
I just had to have my shoulder x-rayed because of something that's going on in there. And there's no cancer and nothing like that. But in those x-rays, you could see rib x-rays too. And you could see a really big lesion in there. And that wasn't there like in the very beginning. So,
Gosh.
and that we'll talk like that,
Hmm.
we can talk about that toward the end. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, so it's interesting to see though. I'd like to have x-rays of my ribs now just to see how that would compare to a year ago when I first had it done to see what the
Yeah.
difference would be.
Yeah. Gosh. Well, it hasn't even, you were diagnosed in August
Right.
and it's
August
May.
22nd was my
Hmm.
diagnosis.
Gosh. So let's look at that. I mean, you have all of, I can just imagine what that was like sitting in that office and then the next office and then the next, like all of that
Yeah.
happening. How did you handle all of that? What was that like for you?
Oh, well, you hear the C word, like
Yeah.
when you hear that, I mean, I was just like, that's why my husband was with me because I was afraid that that was what was coming and I needed him to hear what was said after that.
Yeah. Because sometimes we just like protective mechanism,
Yeah,
right? In our own nervous system. Yeah, I
right.
need a second set of ears here. How was
Yeah.
he with that?
Well, together we are a powerhouse and just like, okay, what are the things that we need to do next? Okay, so let's get
Gotcha.
the CT. How fast can we get that done?
Mhm.
Let's see the doctor, get those results. Okay, we're packing a bag tonight and going up tonight. Like, can we have dinner with the kids or do we have to actually like get in the car right now?
You're doers. Yeah. Hmm.
And then I spent 9 days in the hospital, so he was with me a lot. That was supposed to be the week to bring our oldest to college in Colorado. I didn't get to do that, so my husband took him on that road trip, and then my parents came from Wisconsin. They came and stayed with us for 5 weeks. Um, and my mother-in-law, I think she was with us for 3 or 4 weeks after that.
Wow.
Because right before, so I had my doctor's appointment to get those lab results, but before the CT came, I had gone to visit a couple that we were doing that my last client before, and I drove home and I said, I can't drive. I'm
Yeah.
something's really wrong. I can't, my reflexes are slow. I am a hazard on the road to myself and to everybody else.
Hmm.
And that was the last time I drove until the end of October or maybe beginning of November.
Mm.
Because when I was in the hospital, I was in so much pain and they had me on crazy pain meds.
Yeah.
I rarely got out of bed. They didn't get me out, and I didn't venture out. It was only to the bathroom. And I had to go home with a walker.
Yeah.
And that's what really, we were like, holy moly, for the kids to see me in that space. Our kids are, at the time, they were 18, 17, no, 18, 16, and 14, 13, 13.
Yeah.
So, they're all teenagers. I'm so glad that they're as old as they are so that they can understand.
Yeah.
And we talk about everything. I mean, they know everything
Oh.
because this disease is a monster in a way that, it'll be with me for life. And so
Mhm.
there's no hiding anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what a beautiful way for you to support your kids through this while you're, like, okay, guys, we're in this.
This is it.
And
Yeah.
yeah. And in the work that you do, I can imagine that you see very often the temptation that so many people have to hide what they're going through.
Yeah.
To, you said, okay, I'm not fit to drive, but so many
Yeah.
people are like, I'm not giving that up. That's my autonomy, right?
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I can imagine your experience with this helped you see like, wait a minute, this is how to handle this situation.
Yes. And I
Mhm.
would like to say too, because I was on pain meds, that is different than just your ability to drive
Mhm.
declining slowly over time.
Yeah.
Mine was a pretty sudden thing. And then like as I was weaning off the pain meds, I felt, I was feeling better and I asked my doctor if I could drive and he's like, no, that would be a DUI if you get pulled over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's not do that. So, you have to take that into consideration
Sure.
too. Um,
That makes sense. Yep. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's not get ourselves in any trouble here. We don't want to be,
right.
yeah, in jail between doctor's visits, right?
Yeah.
So you came home with a walker and in a multi-level home. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, even just leading up to our front door, we have like 6 or 7 steps.
Mhm.
Luckily, we have railings. A lot of houses don't, but I could walk up steps with my husband behind me. He was the only one that I would allow to help me. But the steps are not deep enough for a walker. That's the only way I could get up. So, and then in the house, we have steps going into our living room. Luckily, there's only two of them and they're deep enough that I could actually use the walker on them. So that was a good thing.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Um, yeah, but then a number of steps out to our backyard and into the garage. Not that I was not going in the garage, but and then upstairs. And same thing where my husband had to stay with me and hold on to me. I mean, he would hold on to my pant loops, like
Oh, yeah. Did you have those thoughts like, hold on, is this house right for me now? Is this a forever thing? What are doctors telling you? Like,
Oh
what do I do
yeah.
here?
So like within my senior home coach group, we talk about homes all the time. So I already had it in my mind that we're not living in this house for forever. I've already like started to cut ties with it. It's the
Mm.
kids that are like, wait a minute, you're talking about selling our house.
Yeah, wait, yeah.
But when that happened, and I'm like, oh, you got to get the rugs up and you have to do, my dad put in some grab bars because I couldn't even get we have a bathtub. I
Yeah.
couldn't do that by myself. And you don't want help doing that.
Yeah.
Um, but that was, it was like, well, how long is this going to take me to get better? And we were told that I would get better and that I was put on chemo right away. So um, we knew that it would improve. We didn't know, you still don't know what that really looks like. But yeah, with the bedrooms upstairs, my husband and I slept on the couch together
Mhm.
because it was safer to stay down here. And I had to take pain meds every 4 hours. So he would get up with me. We would joke. It's like having a baby, like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
get up, they're so timed with their feedings. And it was like, we needed to make sure that I didn't fall back to sleep and not take my meds. And then he would have to help me get up to go to the bathroom. And so, yeah, I mean, we were not enjoying the house very much at all.
Yeah. Yeah, this house that is your home with the memories, with the experiences and the things that you love suddenly becomes an adversary, right? Like, wait a minute here.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything surprising about that, like this experience going through this personally?
The surprising part is the urgency that happens. And, we talk about this with older people. Well, it can happen with anybody. And, that's just, if it's not a disease, it could be an accident of some sort. I
Mhm.
mean, there are so many things that can take us out overnight.
Yeah.
So and really, you always think it's going to be somewhere else that it happens, that it, you hear people say that, "Oh, I never thought it would be me." Well, that's
Hmm.
the truth. And we can't be prepared for these things, but if we have the conversations, we can at least have it in the back of our mind.
Yep.
That,
Yeah. And I mean, I can only imagine, like, yeah, I've had these conversations. I know this about this house. I need this, I need this, I need this. But I need this is so different from, oh, let me suggest this for you, a person that
right.
I know well or don't know well, right? Like,
Hmm.
yeah. Whew. And the kind of suddenness of this, yes, you were not feeling well in January. Things were declining through the year, but wait a minute, it's almost, yeah, it was pretty sudden for you that this all happened.
Yeah. I was running the turkey trot at Thanksgiving, and I was running indoors during the winter. And then I had a friend mention something about running oh shoot, what is the run up at Tahoe? It's in May or
Oh yeah,
June.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't think. And he was like, "You gonna do it?" And I'm like, "I'm hardly even walking right now. Like, I
Oh,
don't know what's
this year.
happening to me. Maybe next year."
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, but then suddenly, yeah, I mean, I could only hold myself up. So kind of like other people with dementia or whatever, being able to hide things for a short time,
yeah.
for those visits and things, but then it finally lets loose. And that's what
Mhm.
happened for me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it hard for you to accept help, to receive help from others?
Yeah, because I'm the helper. I'm the
Yeah.
mom, I'm the wife. Like I do all the things. So for my parents to just appear here, and my parents are in their 70s. They're not supposed to be taking care of me. That was really hard. And people offering to bring food, people wanting to, set up a meal train, or how can we help? What can we do? Can we walk the dogs for you? Can we take the kids to school or to all the activities, like all those things? And I just want to say, no, we're fine. We're fine. No, we were
Not
not
fine.
fine.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know how long that really took me, if it was days or, whatever it was, that I finally was like, yeah, we need all the help we can get. So let's get this stuff set up. And I mean, I couldn't cook, and my husband has to go back to work, and the kids are in school.
Yeah.
So, and my mom and dad are helping me. So, like, cooking was the hardest thing. That was the hardest thing. And that's what people just rallied around us. And we had more food, but
Yeah.
it was amazing.
You do have a group of really supportive people around you that rallies for people in need. That is
Yeah.
your nature is,
Community is
yeah.
incredible. I mean, we had the school district, and our, local groups that we are in, and family across the country, friends across country. There was just
Mhm. Yeah.
so many people.
That's amazing. Yeah. I'm glad you had that. I'm so glad. Yes. And so how has this impacted or changed the way you relate with your clients?
Um, well, it makes it more personal. And, I can definitely feel for them so much more. Um, and be able to relate in a way. I mean, because of having had the walker, I think that, I know what that feels like, trying to get into a bathroom,
Hmm.
just your half bath that's on the first floor. Or um, it's much more, we're much more connected.
Yeah. Yeah. You have lived experience
Mhm.
with some of the things that you're supporting people through. And yeah, any kind of like tender areas where you're working with someone and you're seeing them, especially the walker piece, right? And it's like, oh my God, yes, I know.
Mhm.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, and our house luckily is newer in that, I mean, it's still 30 years old, but it has wider doorways, wider staircase. And so I could get into all the rooms. There are a lot of houses that have very narrow doorways, and you can't do that.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, that is a nationwide problem.
Hmm.
We have
I'm
very
thinking,
few homes that really accommodate
hmm,
all people.
all needs, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking my bathroom downstairs. There's no way a walker would fit in there. It wouldn't, forget the doorway. It wouldn't even fit in the room.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a
And
small little
that's what
quarterback, whatever.
people, and that's and sometimes people have to take the door off
Yeah. Wow.
because that could potentially allow um, you to get in.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but, we were putting in grab bars and,
Yeah.
um, knowing how to do that the right way and not putting up the suction cup type, you have to
Yeah.
get into the stud or, so
Right.
you
Real
can hang on
support.
it if you need to.
Right. Real support is needed. This is not
Yeah, we don't want
decorative.
anybody going through a wall.
Right. Yeah. So let's if we can get a little bit personal for a minute. You said this is not going away for you. You
Right.
look healthy and beautiful and you're upright and you're smiling. Tell us what's going on with you now and what you're looking forward to.
Sure. So after having I had chemo locally September through December 15th. And then in January, I started prepping for a bone marrow, or I'm sorry, a stem cell transplant. So I had to go to Salt Lake City for that. And so in January, they do they put in a central line so that they have better access to do this, and they give you a medication, different medications to stimulate your stem cell growth. So that is kind of a painful process that goes over 4 days, and then they collect stem cells through your blood. Like they just take your blood out of the central line, put it through a centrifuge, and take out what they need, and then put back what they don't use. So I was in Salt Lake City for 2 weeks, and then we came home for 2 weeks, and then I went back in the beginning of February, and I was there for 30 days for my stem cell transplant. So I was, it can be done outpatient. They do it inpatient there, so it is different depending on where you are. Um, it takes a couple days to do all of that too. So through that same central line, they gave me a high dose of chemo, and that's what makes the hair fall out.
Mhm.
Everybody was wondering in the fall, as was I, like, am I losing hair with this chemo?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't until February. And then the stem cells, they give those back. And then I was admitted and in the hospital for 17 days. It was the perfect 17 days because it was with the onset of the Olympics, which I haven't had time to watch for years and years.
Oh
So
my gosh.
that was just a fun time. Um,
Oh my, you might be the literal only person I've ever heard talk about chemo being a fun time. I'm just gonna just throw that out there.
I'm going to just do a big shout out to Huntsman. Their their staff, whether it was the environmental services coming in and cleaning the room and taking out the trash, or it was the nurse or the PA or the doctor or whomever was coming in that room, occupational therapy, physical therapy, massage therapy. I got
Nice.
2 massages while I was there. Like it was for as I didn't feel terrible. I did have some side effects that were pretty bad, but I was up walking every day. That I was walking 5 or 6 miles a day.
Goodness.
When my numbers tanked and I had to stay in the unit, then I did have a couple days where I was more tired.
Mhm.
But I walked every single day. I told everybody, you need to make sure I get out of bed. And I didn't have a problem with that, but and that was they really encourage you to do that, or they have a bike in the room too. So I would
Nice.
bike
Okay.
too. I ended up walking the equivalent of 2 marathons in those 17 days. They celebrate when you do that. It was like a party. They had a finish line. They
Uh,
had, I mean, the whole staff was there. They're like, wait, you have 4 laps to go? Hold on a minute. We do something for this. So, but that
wow.
was, I mean, it really made it as enjoyable as it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I have the sense that perhaps your positive attitude might have come into play a little bit there. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you gotta be,
Hmm.
it's not always easy, but truly, uh, yeah, attitude is everything.
Yeah. So multiple myeloma is truly no joke. This is not, this is nothing to mess around with. And it is, I'm just sitting here mid-May thinking you just like that was in February, three
Hmm.
3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I came home March 6th, I think it was,
Yeah.
um, and I felt completely normal. I felt better than I had in a year all but at that point.
Mhm.
So it was really hard for me because my immune system wasn't there yet. So I couldn't walk my dogs because I couldn't pick up after them. We have a rabbit that I still can't touch. Um,
Mhm.
and cleaning. And I'm like, I just want to do what I do. How do I stay in
Yeah.
my house? Because I could be in public, I could be outside. For the first bit, I had to wear a mask even outside. I could go to stores, but I had to wear a mask because you're kind of social distanced already, so that was okay. But I couldn't be in restaurants or in church or any, gathering, networking events, anything like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
was off the table for now.
Yeah, because of your immune system. And I'm
Right.
just gonna, those of you watching this or listening to this, I just want to tell you, like, Colleen is such a freaking rock star. Okay, she and I were slated to speak at an event not that long ago, last in April, and she literally cannot do it because of this what she's going through. Did she cancel? No, no, she didn't cancel. She sent in a video that she recorded ahead of time. Like she's here showing up. This is who this woman is. And Colleen, I'm just so honored that you're here doing this with me. Like in the midst
Thank
of
you.
all of this, yeah, it really speaks to who you are. And I hope that you are taking care of yourself through all of this and not overdoing it. Tell me, like reassure me a little bit. She's like, I don't
I
know about
hope. I don't know about that.
yet.
That's
Okay.
hard. I'm doing the things that I love to do, and I have gotten back working with some clients, and I'm working with another agent too because the chemo brain is a thing, like the
Mhm.
the brain fog and people who still want to work with me. There have been some people who I couldn't take care of because of the time or whatever, and they 100% worked with somebody else. I referred
Mhm.
them out to other people, but yeah, it's I'm not good at sitting still. Even not feeling good, I wasn't good at sitting still. So I'm still figuring that out. And you're right, I get reminded by
Mhm.
probably everybody I talk
Yeah.
to like
Take it easy. Take it. Well,
slow
I was
down,
just,
like it's all gonna be here.
yeah, listen to your body. Listen to your
Yeah.
body and how you're feeling. And I think that's the best guide for you because you said this is so different for every single person. I've seen people
Yeah.
fare completely differently with this, multiple
Yeah.
myeloma specifically, right? And it's so listening to your own body, I think, is the best guide for you. And
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, so coming back to this, let's talk about the people that you serve, the community that we're in. For someone who's listening, who wants to stay in their home as they age, what are the
Mhm.
first things that maybe they should be looking at? If they're starting to think about this, then maybe there's
Mhm.
something to think about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's having conversations. It's getting the words out of, you have all these ideas in your head, and whether or not you're local to me and could talk to me, you have to at least talk to somebody, your spouse, your kids, your friends, somebody that supports you, and getting those ideas out, and what are the needs, what are the urgent needs,
Mhm.
and what is the ultimate goal?
Okay.
And how do you get from one point to the other? And that's where it can be messy, but by putting, even just writing it down, you can see where you need to start.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. And you say that it can be messy. It's to me, it
Mhm.
seems like this is so individual. It's
Yeah,
messy, but we can't have like, here's how you do this.
right.
Here's the
No, there's
there
no
is
playbook for it necessarily. It's
because
different for each
yeah.
person.
Yeah, needs are different, desires are different, goals are different, all of it. Homes are
Yeah,
different.
right.
Yeah. Do you have some, we talked earlier about you can walk into someone's home and say, ah,
Mhm.
here are these things. Are there some simple things that you can, like just some tips for people, most common things, even in homes that you haven't seen or lives that you haven't seen? What are simple things that people can do?
Um, those rugs,
Yeah,
those
the
rugs
rugs.
are the things that, if they're large and they don't move, then they're more likely to be okay.
Hmm.
Removing furniture that you're not using, just
Hmm.
to make your pathways easier to get through. Um, you know, we talked about grab bars, and that's going a little bit further, but I just want to call that out because grab bars can be very pretty. They don't have to look like a grab bar. We have what is now a towel rack and the toilet paper holder, and you wouldn't know that they can actually support your weight if you need to grab onto that wall.
Gotcha.
So that I think is huge to know. Um, Other simple things are even just putting in handles instead of knobs, both, on your doors, having a handle or something that you can use your elbow with, because our hands they can't always turn a knob, and they can't always pull
Gotcha.
on a cabinet door, but and you have to be careful with ones that have anything sticking out too, because you can get your clothing on that. But like a closed handle is really good all around the house for any age,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
safer and easier.
Uh, they ask like from a different angle for families, people trying to help aging parents.
Mhm.
What's something that you wish that people understood about this process, about all of it?
It's really hard for them. We all think that we're 28 years old still.
Yeah.
We all, it's hard getting older, and we all want to think that we can continue to do the things. So getting frustrated with parents isn't going to be helpful. Treating them like they're your children is not going to do any good.
Right. Yeah.
But again, having the conversations, it's asking questions.
Mhm.
Have you thought about doing, living in a different house? Have you thought about the things that go on in your house, and how, we're even just voicing concerns, but in a compassionate way, not being upset, but we worry about you being upstairs, because fire safety is a thing too. Can you get out of the house if there's a fire?
Right. Right.
And maybe it's just moving downstairs for now and
Yeah.
being on ground level, or but it's really just coming down to asking a lot of questions, the
Mhm.
things that you need to know. Even do you have a medical directive? Do you have somebody to oversee you in case something happens and you can't answer for yourself? And having a conversation with that person so that they understand what your desires are.
Mhm.
Having a will, having a trust. Those are such important things. And people talk about the cost of them, but my gosh, it costs way more in the end, not only emotionally and physically on your loved ones, but financially, it's much more expensive if you don't have those things set in place
Yep.
earlier on.
Yep. Paying to have that put in place is the least expensive route to take,
Yeah.
actually. Right? Yeah.
Yep, it is. Even, I mean, you might pay thousands of dollars for a trust, but um,
It's a
it's
savings.
going to save you, it could save you tens of thousands.
Hmm.
And,
And you
and,
see
and
this in your work,
yeah,
that
I
people
mean,
that
it can
don't
take
use.
years to go through stuff. It's when you have everything written out and documented and things can just take place, it's a blessing to
Yeah.
whoever is on the other side of that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You're talking as I'm asking, what can help and what in your expertise, all of these. I hear you say a lot of you're bringing up a lot of conversation. Let's talk about this.
Hmm.
Let's ask the
Yeah.
questions. Why do you think so many people avoid having these conversations until it's too late? What's up with that?
Because, well, I think, not too many generations ago, we didn't talk about a lot and people didn't live as long.
Oh yeah.
Those were private
Yeah.
things and it's just the way that people have been. So the longer that we live, the longer we have to plan for.
Mhm.
Um, if 50 years ago, if the average age, and I'm not sure if this is right or not, but the average age might have been 60 or 65, and now you're living to be 85, 90 years old
Yeah.
or longer.
Mhm.
We might have an extra 30 years that we think. I mean, so we really, really have to get more comfortable with talking to each other
About
and
that
and
stage. Yeah.
letting, yeah. And that's throughout life. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're 20 years old because things happen. So we just have to make it be more of a cultural norm to have these conversations and not make it be all about death or all about, the doom and gloom, but just like, hey, where do you want to be? I find out that people want to be cremated instead of buried in the ground because they want their ashes spread out over the lake they grew up on or a favorite vacation spot, or, they don't care about the box in the ground anymore. There's just, there's so many different things now. And I think it's just more like, let's just talk about it and
Yeah.
feel good about it.
Yep. Yep. I like that. Normalizing that, hey,
Mm.
this is a span of life that is no, it's we need to talk about it like we do every other span of
Mhm.
life for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I mean, you bring that up too, younger people like who might not expect to be in this, in a stage of life where they need some help, right? Or where
Right.
where movement has changed and maybe suddenly. What do you
Mhm.
say to somebody who's suddenly facing that, like health challenges like that?
Mm. It's hard. And, it's gonna be hard.
Mhm.
But the more that you talk about it, the more you ask for help and guidance and finding support groups, that's really important too. Finding people who have been through what you have been through.
Mhm. Good,
That
good.
can be huge. And finding the right age group. For multiple myeloma, the average age of diagnosis is 70.
Goodness.
I'm not
You're a
50 yet.
youngster. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like,
Mhm.
I was looking for Facebook groups and I found a general one, and I'm like, well, this is kind of sad. Like, this does not feel good to me at all. And I found one that is for when you're diagnosed under 50. Well, that's me. Like, that's married and have kids and have all the activities and working and taking care of our parents. And, it was like, oh, the other people can do this. If they can do it, I can do it. And it's a much different outlook, you know?
Mhm.
And then a 20-year-old needs to find what they need.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Yeah. Finding your community. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, Colleen, you've been so generous with your expertise and your time today. I just want to thank you so much. And I know this kind of experience isn't over for you yet, but I'm hoping that like right now you're feeling better. It sounds like. Right.
Yeah, I feel great. And yes, it is for life. And it is, I have to go back in 6 months for a bone marrow biopsy, and then it should be annually. Like every April is going to be my trip. I'll just have my annual trip out to Salt Lake City and
There you
get a
go.
PET scan and a bone marrow biopsy, some extra blood work, and have a little fun in the city and come back home again.
Yeah, maybe a massage or two, something like that, right?
Yep.
There we go. Okay. Well, you've been such a wealth of knowledge and you continue to be, and the group that you have brought together to support people. Let's let our listeners know if people want to connect with you or learn more about your work, where can they find you?
My phone number is best. You can call or text me at 775-580-5805. You can also email me. It's kind of long, but it is Colleen, senior home coach at gmail.com. And Colleen is Colleen.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that would
Great.
be best.
Okay, phone or email, and I will have all of that in the show notes, but and you are again a doorway to just a wealth of support and knowledge and help and information. And again, if you're listening to this from outside of the Reno Tahoe area, Colleen's reach is far and wide. And so
Mhm.
when we're seeing our parents age and not knowing what to do first, reach out to Colleen and
Yeah,
you can point people in the right direction. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Always happy to help.
Thank you so much for being here today, Colleen. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you here for having me, Jolyn. This has been a blessing,
Yeah. Oh, good.
truly.
Well, yeah, we need to get what you're doing out to people. So, all right. Well,
Thank you.
thank you all for listening, for joining us today as well, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Grapevine Wellness Show. If you found it helpful, be sure to like and subscribe and share it with someone who might need to hear it. If you're struggling with trauma or grief, anxiety, depression, or if your relationship is struggling, maybe along with some of those things, I want you to know that there is a path forward and you don't have to walk it alone. Visit grapevineinnerwellness.com to learn more about the work that I do and how we can work together. And I'll see you next time.